Number one tip is to recruit up. You should only spend 1 to 5 minutes per person. Keep it super simple. You can't have any doubt. So 1% doubt, you're out.
What is the one thing that people are always struggling with, and that is growing a team? So today's video, we're gonna give you tips and tricks on how you too can grow a massive downline and a team for any business.
So if the 8-year-old cannot understand or cannot present the information you're sharing, no one can understand what you're talking about.
All right, so today we're gonna be talking about the power of recruitment and why some of the videos out there on the internet may be sort of skewed. So recruiting 10 people in 10 days or recruiting 30 people in 30 days may just be a little too difficult for some of you. So we're gonna give you tips and tricks on how you can recruit actually 30 people in 90 days, which is exactly what Ian did in the last business that we both were in together, and how he reached the level of director extremely quickly. So Ian, what are some of the tips?
Thanks for having me on the call, and I'm actually really excited to be here because this topic is something that I believe is the most important piece of your basically network marketing business. And just a little bit of my background, I've been in the industry just over 10 years. I've been in multiple companies. And of course, I've earned enough money where I hit multiple 6-figure income. But at the same time, like similar to everyone in this call, I had my stage where I was struggling. So basically I was struggling to recruit anyone into my business. There's no momentum, there's nothing happening, there's a lot of frustration. So that's why I'm on this call tonight to basically share my experience, how I was able to come into a company, sponsor 30 people, and then basically everyone in the company wondering what this guy is doing. That's always the case when I get involved in the company. And definitely I want to be able to share my experiences, and so you guys can save a lot of time. And the 5 things that I think is the most valuable that you need to learn. Number one tip is to recruit up. You're going to save a lot of headache if you actually sponsor the right people into your organization instead of just sponsoring every single person. So I'll give you an example. I run across a lot of people, you approach them, they're saying either they don't have the money, they don't have the time, they don't have this. Automatically, in my mindset, you're not for this business because I'm looking for very specific people to get involved with, because I don't want to basically waste that person's time. I don't want to waste my time. So what I mean by recruiting up is going through like the list of names or contacts in your head, actually the most successful people you know, and having that kind of confidence and posture to approach them.
Some of the people out there don't really know business people, so how do you handle that?
Don't prejudge. You never know. When we're labeling people, let's say you know a certain amount of people, you have this mindset, okay, this person is going to do well. This person probably not going to make it. Like, you cannot do this. The way this industry works, as soon as the person gets involved into the system, you don't know exactly what they're going to do. It's almost like you have to get them involved and then see how much they're progressing before you can say, okay, this is the person that I want to work with. I always try to highlight certain qualities that I'm looking for. So I'm looking for hunger, I'm looking for drive. Sure, they might not have been super successful in other organizations, but they also need to learn new information and be coachable to what you're teaching. Because there might be super successful people joining your team, but then they want to try it their own way. And from my experience, they struggle. They're going to circumvent what actually is supposed to be done, and then they're going to try their own method. So it's going to take them so much time with trial and error, doing the wrong things until they surrender to the system, saying, hey, I'm going to do this. I'm going to follow what you're saying.
Right. So what you need to make sure is the people who you're working with, they respect the fact that you're bringing them into the business, and you will train them and devote your time to train them properly. You don't want people just, like you said, doing their own thing and then giving up because it didn't work the way perhaps they did it in a previous business or anywhere else, which is usually the worst thing because a lot of people come in from different businesses where they've been burnt.
Exactly. I'll give you an example. I mean, Mr. Marcin is very successful in many different areas. So let's say you're knowledgeable in the YouTube, you're knowledgeable in real estate, you're knowledgeable in online marketing funnels, things like that. So I cannot come in saying to him that this is how it works for those specific topics. When you're actually going into, let's say, a new company, and usually you will search out someone that's very successful in that company that can teach you exactly what you missed. When I get involved in a new company, once I start massively sponsoring people, everyone wondering what I'm doing. Even complete strangers suddenly start messaging me saying, hey, Ian, can you give me some tips? What do I need to do? How do you like bring on board so many people? So it's like, I'm not looking for everyone, but if you're qualified to get involved with me, then I'm going to give you all the things that I'm doing that's actually getting me to that stage. The second thing that I want to share is keep it super simple. This is the most confusing thing for people because they think that you have to explain every single detail to a new person that sharing about your opportunity. Saying way too much that you actually convince them not to join.
That's my problem. That's always been my problem.
My recommendation is you have to use the company tools. My first mentor in the industry, a multiple, basically 7-figure earner, he said, Ian, you have to keep it super simple. Then 8-year-old can actually present the business. So if the 8-year-old cannot understand or cannot present the information you're sharing, no one can understand what you're talking about. They're just going to start pretending they're listening. They're nodding to you, but they're not really listening.
Right.
And so that happens often. Basically, keep it super simple. At the same time, that anyone can digest the information, and you don't have to spend so much effort or time trying to convince them to get involved. Because if your opportunity is really the best, you just give them the information, you track them, you follow up with them, and then basically they make their call.
Just because you believe in something doesn't necessarily mean that somebody else will believe in it as well, or even as much as you, or be even as good at presenting it as you will. The only thing you can do is, like Ian said, is arm them with the tools that the company has provided you with, so that way they can stay on track and they can grow and be as successful as you have been.
Should only spend 1 to 5 minutes per person, meaning you spend that short amount of time so you can go to the next one. Let's say there's a lineup of 100 people. The person you're looking for is number 56. But if you're so stuck trying to present to number 2, 3, up to, let's say, number 40, you will never get to that person that's actually the one that you want to get into your business.
100%.
That person is the one that's going to build a massive team. If I share that information with you, I give you enough details, you're asking me more information, I give it to you. You decide. I will follow up with you, let's say, in a couple of days, a week, depending on the timeline that you want me to reach out to you. And if it's not for you, I thank you for your time. And then what I'm going to say to them, I understand it's not for you, but would you happen to know someone else that might be interested? Number 3 tip is asking for referrals. So it's not for everyone, but they might know someone else that's interested or looking for something. And that referral is a new, fresh contact that can actually be included in your funnel or your pipeline. So you can go after that new person. You don't have to basically keep pursuing someone that's not interested. So my 4th tip is having a hunter and a fisherman's mentality. So my initial struggle in this industry, my first few years, I was a hunter. So a hunter, this is my definition. Let's say Mr. Marson is my target. So he's part of my list. I will hunt Marson. I will bombard him. Hey, Marson, you should get involved with this business. Then a few days later, hey, Marson, you should take a look. So it's almost like I hunted Marson so much that this guy would never, ever join the business because I killed him, like I hunted him.
Right.
You seem so desperate to get that person in that the person knew that, okay, I don't want to get involved in that. My approach is actually the fisherman. I'm casting this big net. So meaning I'm reaching out to as many people as possible. I'm not so desperate to get them involved. So I'm just fishing. Like meaning eventually I'll catch a fish that's interested and I'll give them more information and then they get involved in my business. I'm not chasing everyone. And this is something that I found is the most effective way. And it kind of ties into something called a magnetic sponsoring. So it's almost like you're a magnet. You're attracting people to you. You're not hunting them down. Basically, I had this situation when I first started in the industry. Initially I had an uncle. So my uncle was super successful in previous companies. And I thought, okay, my uncle would be the best person to get involved in my business. So I kept pursuing my uncle to the point that he sent me a message. He's like, Ian, please leave me alone. I'm not interested. Like, please stop messaging me about this. So meaning, I know this is like a common mistake of a lot of people. Is like they're trying so hard to get someone into their business, even though that person is clearly saying it's not for me. Please leave me alone. So that's another tip that I want to give you, to always have this mindset that whatever you're doing is super exciting and it's super urgent. If I call you in the middle of the night, it's important and that I'm excited that you have to hear about it. When I first started this video, I was saying 90 days because 90 days is enough to completely change your life. You can create this brand new team, let's say ranging from 30 excited people. And what happens is there's this magic. So if you sponsor people in a short amount of time, all of those people are super excited, they can start work together. And that means that you have this brand new team of excited people just sharing the information, and that will create a massive momentum. In the past, I didn't fully understand this. So I thought like, okay, it would be good that I bring on board, let's say 2 people a month. It doesn't work and there's no momentum. There's no excitement. So it's much better in your first 90 days in the business to really go all out. If you find that the opportunity is basically something you truly believe in, you build your new list, number 1. And then from that list, go hit the numbers. But there's nothing wrong with going through at least like 300 names. And some people think, okay, 300 names is a lot of people. Absolutely not. We're living in a planet, there's billions of people. Like I'm saying,
everybody probably has 3,000 Facebook friends, right?
Exactly. It's just this fear. Fear is coming from they don't believe enough in the opportunity. If they're sharing it with someone, it's like they don't have that confidence to basically approach that person. The number 5 tip that I want to give you is having more than 100% belief in your organization, your company you're joining. You can't have any doubt. So 1% doubt, you're out. Any kind of doubt, they can read it that, okay, you don't believe in this. So if you don't believe in this, I'm not going to get involved with you. You kind of have that mindset that I'm going to lead you to make money. So meaning if you get involved with me, I'm going to lead you to success without, really implying that, but they can hear it from your passion, from your voice that, okay, this guy is serious about this. He must know something I don't. So I'll take a look at this. I know I said only 5, but this is actually one of my secrets into basically building a massive, massive team. I will use another analogy called a deck of cards. So typically a deck of cards, I believe there's about 52 or 50. How many is it, Martin? How many?
52.
Okay, this analogy means you're just looking in the deck of cards, let's say 52 contacts, 4 aces, like 4 people in those deck. That's actually the 4 people you're looking for to get involved with. Because what happens is if you find the right people, it would be people that will build with or without you, meaning they will start building a team. Even you never even reached out to them, they're start basically reaching out to people.
People like
Like you, Ian. People like you.
Because you know what happens? Each time that I get involved in a new company, my sponsor actually is usually not doing anything. Even the person that recently got me involved in the business, he's actively building his business. I already built a team, and
It's true,
I
it's
never
true.
met him for coffee.
Actually, Ian's doing that he did that for one of my businesses back when. How many people were under the townline?
Just think over 1,000, something like that.
Yeah, crazy. And I think I recruited 2. You and someone else.
That's what you're looking for. So going
Right.
back to that analogy of the deck of cards, is you're looking for 4 aces. So I'll give you some example. So initially, I reached out to my friend Josh. So I thought Josh is good. He's very business minded. He liked the opportunity. He got involved. And then the next day, he called me and said, Ian, this is not for me. Basically, I don't think this can work. So Josh is not an ace. So Josh is actually like a 3. But he's my friend. So meaning I said, Josh, I understand it's not for you. Then I move on. I approach someone else. So maybe there's going to be someone that you reached out to named Lisa. Lisa gets involved, likes the opportunity, start actually bringing some people on board. So she might be a 10, but she's not an ace. So all I'm saying is keep searching. And you can put in the back of your mind, it's like, okay, this person is this. You still need them in your team, but it doesn't mean they're the person you're looking for. So you have to keep basically sorting. I'm just looking for the 4 people that's actually going to build this massive team until I can move on to, let's say, my next phase. So I usually do a 90-day game plan, like I mentioned in the start of this call. Within that 90-day window, I'm going through until I find those 4 key people that's actually going to build a massive team. And I want to share, in a deck of cards, there's actually one hidden card, which is a joker. So the joker, this thing you will run across. The definition of the joker, they're going to say, Ian, I really like this. I love this, what you showed me. Basically, come, let's have a meet. And then next thing you know, they're actually presenting their company to you. So those are the jokers. You will run across a lot of these people. And sometimes like they're actually trying to upsell something else.
It's funny you say that because a friend of mine, I had to do some real estate stuff, and I borrowed his tools, and I needed to drop them off a few days ago. So I dropped him off, but he was sleeping. So his wife texted me, "Hey, Marcin, just drop him off in the garage." And she's like, I opened the garage and I went in there, dropping the tools off, and then she starts talking to me. And like 3 minutes later, she's like, "Hey, so I joined this new company," and it's totally a company that I actually was a part of, like long time ago. But anyways, I was just like, "Are you trying to recruit me?" She's like, "No, I just joined this company. It was for a client of mine. I think this is great. I already switched my services to this." But I was like, listen, if it works for you, it's great. It didn't work for me, so I moved on. But I know some people, and I may reach out to them if I'm not actively trying to pursue people for my business, which I am. There's a lot more tips and techniques about recruitment, sales funnels, how to grow a business, and real estate tax advantages that you will find from me on this channel. And make sure you subscribe and join our Facebook group on the Networker Academy and register for the Networker Academy so you can get access to free ebooks and free video tutorials like this, not only from Ian or myself, but from other experts in accounting and real estate and business and in various different markets that will help you. So thank you guys so much for joining us. Ian, thank you so much again for coming back.
Thank you, guys.
Join us for the next call or video. Bye-bye.